All right, today we're going to get right to the heart of what makes every single piece of software tick. We're talking about variables. Honestly, they are the absolute foundation of all code. And really getting your head around them is that first huge step into the world of programming. So let's dive in.
So, have you ever stopped to wonder how your computer actually remembers anything? Your username, the high score in a game, what's in your online shopping cart? It feels like magic, right? But the secret is surprisingly simple, and it all comes down to variables.
The best way to think about a variable is to just picture an invisible box. Seriously. It's a little container that a programmer creates inside the computer's memory, and it's designed to hold just one piece of information at a time. Whether that's a name, a number, or just a simple yes or no answer, you just pop it in the box to use later. But here's the catch. You can't just throw anything into any old box. The computer needs to know exactly what kind of information each box is built for. Think of them like specialized containers. You've got one that's perfectly shaped for numbers and another one that's designed just for text. In the programming world, we call this its data type. So a data type is really just a rule. That's it. It's you, the programmer, telling the computer, hey, this box I'm about to create called score, it has to be a number box. And this is absolutely crucial because computers handle different kinds of data in totally different ways. And even these so-called number boxes have their own specializations. If you're dealing with clean, whole numbers, like, say, someone's age or how many items you have, you're going to use an integer. But for anything with a decimal point, like a price or a precise measurement, you'll need what's called a real number box. Okay, so what about text, words, sentences, all that good stuff? For that, we use a data type called a string. This is your go-to container for pretty much any sequence of characters you can think of. A name, a password, a whole paragraph. And you'll notice we usually wrap them in quotation marks to show the computer that it's text. And then we have one of the simplest, but maybe one of the most powerful types of all, the Boolean. This box is super simple. It can only hold one of two things, true or false. That's it. It's basically a light switch. Is the user logged in? True. Is the mission complete? False. This simple on or off idea is the foundation for all decision-making in code. So let's do a quick recap. We've got strings for text, integers for whole numbers, reals for decimals, chars for just a single character, and booleans for our simple true or false. Picking the right data type, the right box for the job, is always the very first step to using variables the right way. Okay, so we know what variables are, and we know about all the different kinds of boxes we can make. But how do we actually tell the computer, hey, I need a box? Well, this whole process is called declaration. Declaration is basically the formal introduction. It's the command where you officially tell your program about a new variable. You give it a unique name, you specify what kind of box it's going to be, and at that exact moment, the computer carves out a tiny piece of its memory just for your new variable. Now, this might look like a totally foreign language at first, but I promise the syntax here is incredibly logical. You just start by saying, hey, I'm about to declare some variables with a var keyword. Then you just follow the pattern for each one. Give it a name, add a colon, tell it the data type, and end with a semicolon. That's it. You've just created a variable. So here's what it looks like in practice. See that pattern? Now pay attention to the first letter of each name. S for string, I for integer, and so on. Now, this isn't a strict rule that the computer enforces, but it's a super helpful convention that programmers use. It helps us see, at a glance, what kind of data a variable holds. It's a great habit to get into. Now, there are a few ground rules for naming your variables. Every name in a given area has to be unique, you can't have spaces, and they can't start with a number. And a really common convention is something called camel case. See how the first word is lowercase and every new word starts with a capital? It makes longer names like amount paid so much easier to read. Okay, so we've declared our variables, we've got our empty boxes, they're all labeled and ready to go. So what's the next logical step? Well, we've got to put some information inside them. This action is called assignment. This is the moment you actually give a variable its value. That special operator, the colon equal sign you see here, just think of it as a big arrow. It's literally saying, take the value on the right and put it inside the box on the left. So this single line of code, iAge equals 15, it's a command. It's an order to the computer. It says, find that integer box we created, named iAge, and put the number 15 inside it. It really is as simple as that. So that leads to a really good question. What happens if our box already has a value in it, and we try to assign a new one? Does it add them together? Does it cause some kind of error? What happens?
And the answer is the old value gets completely kicked out. It's just gone. A variable can only hold one piece of data at a time. So the moment we execute I age equals 16, the computer throws out the old value, 15, and puts 16 in its place. This ability to change, to vary, is the entire reason they're called variables.
So we've covered the what and the how. But to really get why this is so important, we need to talk about the why. Why is this one simple concept of a named box for data so unbelievably important?
50 million. Take a look at this number. What do you think that is? The population of a country? Maybe. A company's revenue? Nope. It's the number of lines of code in a major operating system that you probably use every single day.
Now, I want you to just try and imagine those 50 million lines of instructions, but every single piece of data is stored in a variable called X or Y or data 1. It would be an absolute nightmare. It would be impossible to understand, impossible to fix, impossible to improve. That's why clear descriptive variable names are what make all modern software possible. And that right there is the big takeaway. Variables are so much more than just boxes for the computer. They are the meaningful, human-readable labels that we attach to raw data. So when a website says, "Welcome back, Sarah," it's because it's using a string variable, probably named something like username. They are what turn abstract bits of memory into understandable concepts, like high score and total price.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. A single variable is just one little invisible box. But when you combine millions of them and guide them with logic and purpose, you can build literally anything, from the simplest game to an entire operating system. It all starts with just one box. The possibilities are truly limitless.